Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and I am sitting in the back of my 1931 Ford Model A, but that is not the reason for this video. So, if you're a fan of the channel, you've been noticing that I've been posting a bunch of videos for first-time rotary owners. I've been trying to do more informational videos for people looking to get into RX-7s, into rotaries, and things like that. So at the end of this video, there's going to be a couple other linked videos that'll be very helpful for you if you are searching for your new RX-7. However, today I wanted to talk about some tools that you will need when you finally get your RX-7 if you plan on working on it yourself. A couple of these will be pretty self-explanatory, but these are things you should just have in your arsenal in preparation before working on your car. So to start off, we're going to talk sockets. And the most common ones, the ones you should absolutely have at your ready at any moment, is a 10mm, a 12mm, a 14mm, a 17mm, and a 21mm. Now, with those couple of sockets, you can remove 90% of the RX-7's parts. Fenders are all 10 mils. Most engine parts are 10, 12, or 14. The lug bolts or lug nuts are usually 17s or 21s with the occasional 19. If you plan on doing axle work, a 32 and a 29mm, those are sort of out there, so you might have to order those. Those will help, but the biggest one, in not only size but in importance, is this. This is a 54mm socket. This is for the flywheel of the RX-7. Traditional flywheels on most cars have several bolts holding the flywheel on. The RX-7 only has one giant bolt. It's a 54mm, and you cannot really find these in stores anymore. I had to special order it. All my friends either special ordered it or borrow mine. So that's actually the reason I want to make this video, is go out and buy a 54mm socket for your flywheel. And if I can find it, I'll link those things in the description below so you can click on them and order them. Most of the stuff isn't too expensive, with the exception of one. Next up, because we're talking about the flywheel, number 2 is a flywheel stopper. If you plan on removing that nut and the engine is out of the car, it's nearly impossible to get enough force behind it to actually get that flywheel nut off. It's under almost 300 foot-pounds of torque, if torqued to spec properly. So get a flywheel stop from either Atkins, or I believe Pineapple Racing might make one. Whatever it may be, if you're planning to take the flywheel bolt off, get one of these stops. I managed to do it without a flywheel stop, but I had to jam wood in there. I cut myself. I had to do it on the ground. It hurt the engine a little bit. It's not a good idea. So definitely invest in a flywheel stop. Next up, this is the expensive one, which is a rotary compression tester. Now it'll be linked in the description below, and they're about $300. I do not currently have one. However, I have a friend with one, which is just good enough. And eventually I will be making a video about how to use that. But having some form of compression tester is nice. If you have a piston one laying around, a traditional tube and a gauge, you can make it work. You can at least see if the engine has any compression at all. It's not going to be exact numbers. It's going to be fudged numbers. But at least you'll be able to see if the engine has any compression at all. So if you are looking to spend some money and get into rotaries, you have a little bit of extra money, I'd highly recommend a rotary compression tester. Next up, these are just some good ones to have around the garage. First of all, being Knipex. They're sort of a mix between vice grips and needle nose pliers. Adam has used these on my car a million times. This is good for any car that is getting older because stuff rusts together. It's hard to get into some spots, things like that. This is just a really good multi-tool to have. Next up is a multimeter. A multimeter will test electrical connections. Again, because RX-7s are getting old, you're dealing with 80s wiring, which is typically not the best. Tracking down electrical issues is a lot easier with a multimeter. 2 more things you should have. First of all, a Lyle funnel. This is a funnel for coolant that you can actually turn off. It has like a little shutoff valve in the funnel so you don't spill coolant everywhere and you can properly bleed the cooling system. Again, RX-7 cooling systems, very, very crucial. So that's something you'll want to have. And also just a regular household funnel to have around for pre-mixing, putting that oil into your gas tank. It's smart to just have a funnel around for adding oil, things like that. That should be a typical garage necessity. And last but not least, it's not really a tool, it's more of a product, I guess. I don't know what to call it. Brake Kleen. Get a couple of cans of Brake Kleen. It's awesome for cleaning gunk off, of course used on your brakes as well, but just cleaning off products and things like that. Anytime you reinstall a product, hose it down with a little bit of Brake Kleen, put it back in. That should go for most old cars, and honestly every garage should have like a subscription service to Brake Kleen. Brake Kleen is absolutely awesome, makes jobs a lot easier, it makes parts a lot cleaner, and also if you are running a carbed setup like on an Rx-7 or Rx-3, Rx-2, whatever it may be, you can use it to trace down vacuum leaks. Let the car run, spray just a little bit on all the vacuum lines, and if the car revs up, that means you have a leak wherever you just sprayed the Brake Kleen. Typically you should use like ether or carb cleaner, really carb cleaner, not ether, when doing that method, but Brake Kleen will at least sort of work, and Brake Kleen has so many different functions, it's really nice to have around the garage. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little video. I hope this gave you some insight. Definitely the biggest one is that Flywheel Socket. Huge, 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 huge. I've had several people contact me to come borrow that socket because you can't really find those in stores. You can get away with not having a flywheel stop or not having a real compression tester, but you can't fudge getting away with not having that flywheel nut if that's something you plan on doing. But again, I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave it in the comment section down below. Take care, guys.